take your seats and keep the aisleways clear. Also, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices at this time. Thank you. Good afternoon, students, families, friends, faculty, trustees, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 59th annual Ranney Upper School graduation ceremony. It is now my pleasure to introduce Student Council President John DePalma, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the singing of our national anthem by the Upper School Chorus. We ask that you please remain standing throughout. John?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you, and please be seated.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Greg Martin, and I am honored to serve Ranney School as its upper school head and assistant head of school. I am also humbled to stand before the class of 2023. As your principal, I feel compelled to leave you, of course, with some sage words of advice, but I hope to keep my remarks brief. As a class, you have accomplished many wonderful things together and individually, earning accolades in academics, the arts, athletics, and community service. Today, we oversee a major transition in your lives, one from adolescence to adulthood. High school to college, lives overseen by teams of adults to lives where you will forge your own way, not necessarily alone, but certainly you will be more active in the decisions that shape your futures. You will need grit, resilience, perseverance, determination, and hope to meet the challenges of college and career. In the end, though, we are passing the torch to you as you head into the future and start to take charge of your world and ours. You give us great hope that you will go off and illuminate yourselves and the world around you, bringing light to darkness and affecting positive change in the world. When we see the school's crest, we notice along the bottom our motto, a quotation from the Roman poet Horace. I'm not going to tell you, as I have many times before, that it reads, Nil sine magno vita labore dedit mortalibus, which translated means, life gives nothing great to mortals without hard work. The class of 2023 has worked hard, but graduates, this is just the beginning. Trust me, you're going to have to work hard for many years to come. I'm not going to talk to you about the meaning of the quill, which represents effective communications, though you will most certainly need to hone communication skills with classmates, professors, friends, and life partners. I'm not going to analyze the sword, which may be seen as representing justice. You all have learned how to be good people in the world, to stand up for what is right and to defend and serve those who have been wronged. I am, however, going to talk to you about the torch, prominently taking center stage on the crest. Our school newspaper is titled, of course, The Torch. Last week at Town Hall, Student Council President John DePalma handed off a mock torch to incoming Student Council President Joe Shortino. Light illuminates darkness. It has strong literal force as well as metaphorical meaning. It has mythological meaning as well. Prometheus was bound to a rock, destined to have his liver eaten forever for giving human beings fire. The San peoples of Africa believed that Kagan stole fire from the ostrich, who kept the fire beneath its wings. Mazatec legend has possum spreading fire to human beings, thus losing his fur. Around the world, from one culture to the next, fire represents transcendence, knowledge, and power. You are heading off to illuminate yourselves, to open your minds to new ideas, and to take what you have learned and to put it to use in making the world a better place. As many of you know, I'm a Shakespearean. It's interesting to me as a scholar how often audiences ascribe to Shakespeare the words of his characters. Would we, for example, assume that what Darth Vader states in Star Wars are the beliefs of George Lucas? Of course not. Jake Wiese, in As You Like It, famously compares life to acting. And yet, Jake Wiese is a dark and tortured soul, a pessimist. What I would suggest then is that we carefully consider how the world is not a stage, how our lives have depth of meaning and are complex, dynamic, and precisely not artificial. You'll recall that Mrs. Patient spoke to you all about the power of authenticity because your class is truly real in everything you do. Another character whose words are often ascribed to Shakespeare himself is Macbeth. Out, out, brief candle, he famously states near the end of the play. But recall that Macbeth has murdered innocent people all for power. He too subscribes to a pessimistic view of life because, well, he's in the dark. In the end, Shakespeare, I think, is an optimist, seeing the value of hope and the need for enlightenment. One of my favorite plays, Henry V, opens, "Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention." Calling on the brightest of the four elements, fire, the chorus hopes to breathe in the fires of creativity and imagination, or the brightest heaven of invention. Such light gives the rest of the play, one of his masterpieces, shape. As many of you know, I am also a big fan of Plutarch's analogy of the mind. Plutarch suggests the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be ignited. Our hope as educators is that we have ignited new fires in you, and that you will go off to college and reignite those fires and find new ones to fan as well. At the same time, I hope you will consider the importance of agency, your own agency, because Plutarch's words are usually quoted incompletely. He goes on to ask, why would I warm myself by another's fire if I could ignite my own? You will be called upon, graduates, to start your own intellectual, artistic, athletic, and social fires, seeking out new opportunities actively, not expecting the world to make you into a successful person. A few weeks ago, my wife Courtney shared an amazing video of actor Jeff Goldblum being interviewed on TV. He was asked, how does Jeff Goldblum stay inspired? At first, and in a semi-comical tone, he says, well, I love to play music, of course, but seconds later, using a more serious tone, he takes the audience to another plane by quoting playwright George Bernard Shaw. And I want to close with Shaw's words, because they tie together some of the themes I've been addressing, because I thought of you immediately when I heard his recitation of the lines. Quote, "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being thoroughly worn out before you are thrown on the scrap heap, the being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish, little clod of ailments and grievances complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold of for a moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it to future generations. Go light the world on fire, graduates. Fiat lux." Thank you. Please welcome Ms. Leslie Patient, Dean of Student Life, to the stage for our salutatorian's introduction.
I am honored to introduce the class of 2023 salutatorian. And while some of you may ask, what even is a salutatorian? I guarantee the student who holds this honor was carefully listening last year, sitting over there in the orchestra, having played Pomp and Circumstance 15 or more times. And this student, who is a stellar musician, he loves history, noted in an almost supercomputer brain that this term was first used in 1702 to describe the person in a graduating class who gives the salutatory or greeting address to the assembly. And how lucky we all are that this student has this honor. Because in addition to music and history, this student is an amazing thinker who mulls the great questions of life. As a debate team member, even before upper school, this student crafts arguments in his head, but then is able to write these thoughts most eloquently, having been a literature lover in addition to many other passions and pursuits. Above all, however, we are most lucky because besides being an elite intellect and aesthete, this student at a young age has learned the value of self-reflection, of knowing that part of being human is to continue to evolve. We can change for the better, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles or facing our own failings and shortcomings. This student sees all challenges as opportunities for growth and sees growth as a lifelong pursuit. I am so pleased to invite this year's salutatorian to the stage, Rowan Johnson.
Thank you so much, Ms. Patient. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the commencement of the class of 2023. I would like to begin this speech by thanking the all too underappreciated people without whom we would not be here today, beginning with the heart of our school, our teachers. We cannot thank you enough for making learning genuinely enjoyable. One of the many noteworthy features I've observed about Ranney is that, unlike in the movies, students here actually don't hate school. We have you teachers to thank for that. You truly embody the Ranney slogan, "Every child will be known and valued." Thank you for helping to make this school our second home. Then there are our families. To paraphrase my favorite Basie Award acceptance speech from the other day, thank your parents. They literally made you. Or thank your parents for making you into the person you are today. For me, my mom is my role model and my unsung hero. and I owe so much of what I have in my life to her unconditional love, support, and kindness. Nor could I have made it this far without the ceaseless support of my sweet and selfless grandmother and my wise and kind grandfather, who came all the way down from Canada to be here today and have always been there when it counted. So please, show your families some love and appreciation. In fact, let's give it up for families right now. We often like to talk about gratitude, but today is a day to truly practice it. Give hugs and tell that person how much they mean to you. It means more than you know to them. To me, what makes gratitude so valuable is the limited window we have to express it. Do not take the people in your life or the opportunities you've been given for granted. I know from experience. As many of you know, my father died at the beginning of our freshman year. My world shattered, and I struggled to even conceive of what had just happened. But how I chose to react came to shape the rest of my life. With a new perspective on the impermanence of everything from good experiences in high school to loved ones, I began to treat each moment as precious. Most importantly, I recognize that what truly matters is the people in my life. I urge you all, cherish those in yours. We don't show it on the surface, but each and every one of you has a similar story to tell. Pain that most people were completely unaware of, hardships that no one truly understood. Honestly, if you made it through high school without any trauma, you did not go through high school. But through all the difficulties, the common factor that united our class was our refusal to stop striving. The obvious and obligatory example is the COVID-19 pandemic. Virtual school feels kind of like a fever dream to me now, but what I remember very vividly is the creative ways we found to turn a dreadful situation into positive memories. Instead of quitting sports when we were barred from playing in person, the spring teams competed to record the best exercise videos, which for me meant doing pull-ups on tree branches and squatting my dog in the park. Instead of giving up on fundraising due to a lack of in-person events, the class council collaborated online all summer long to create the silly board game Ranney. And instead of forgoing our sophomore year fall play altogether, like so many schools across the nation opted to do, we stuck it out through the virtual bumpy roller coaster ride that was Dracula, the radio play. The barriers we've encountered along our journey have only made us more eager and determined to succeed, and that's something truly remarkable. But perhaps more remarkable than our resilience as individuals is our strength as a community. After all, none of us face our challenges alone. No one is alone. The only way we've made it this far is by supporting and uplifting one another. Our ability to form tight-knit relationships with each other and with our teachers is unparalleled, and everyone in this audience can vouch to that. Personally, I found my people in the performing arts, but I see the same thing playing out across our class's diverse range of pursuits, from the incredible camaraderie of our sports teams to the kinship between artists, scientists, math whizzes, computer nerds, language communities, you name it. We've each found who we belong with, and that community is what grounds us and gives us the strength to do what we do. What makes our class unique is more than this, however. The communities we've formed around shared interests do not stand in isolation. They're deeply interconnected, woven together into the beautiful tapestry that is the class of 2023. Those who play baseball also play viola. Those who play viola also stage manage the musical. Those who stage manage the musical also participate in science competitions. Those who do science competitions also go to History Bowl Nationals. The list goes on and on. Through these webs of connection, we form one cohesive whole, and together we make magic. As we turn the page to the next chapter of our lives, I'd like to impart just two pieces of advice to you. Number one, treasure your relationships above all else. As you move on to college and beyond, never forget that our people and our community are what make us who we are. We live in a system that tries to make us believe that we're defined by our accomplishments and judges us through the narrow lens of success, whatever that means. And to be fair, I wouldn't be standing up here today if I wasn't guilty of playing that game myself. But it's vital to recognize that in the grand scheme of things, none of that really matters. I can promise you that in 20 years, you're not going to remember that devastating B you got on that one quiz. But what you are going to remember is that thrilling team huddle before the big game, or that suspiciously cult-like chant before opening night of the show. The bonds you've forged and the people that make you feel like you belong. At the end of the day, relationships are what make life worth living. And my second piece of advice to you is to seize every opportunity. As students at Ranney School, we've been blessed with a wealth of options to engage with high-level academics, sports, the arts, you name it. I can't stress enough that not some, but most kids around the world are never afforded the same chances we've been. That's not something to feel bad about. Instead, I urge you to embrace that fact that every opportunity is rare and precious, and I charge you to make the most of the countless doors open to you and use your advantages to make the world a better place. Never take anything or anyone for granted, and do not let your blessings go to waste. From the bottom of my heart, class of 2023, thank you for being you. You are the most amazing group of people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Thank you.
Rowan.
Thank you, Rowan. Welcome to the commencement of the class of 2023. Again, I extend our welcome to trustees, faculty, and staff, and especially the parents and other guests who've come here to celebrate with this extraordinary class. As I thought of some words to celebrate the class of 2023, my 10th class at Ranney School, I went back to a poem that I did a few years ago in the style of Theodore Seuss Geisel, Dr. Seuss. I've always felt an affinity for Seuss in some way. Maybe it's being born in New England not too far from him. Or perhaps that affection comes from being at Lincoln College, Oxford, where he was an alumnus as well, rooming just across from that room in the Chapel Quad. Although Geisel was certainly a complicated character and has received some critical reassessment over the past few years, there are a lot of lessons to be learned from his biography and his work. Indeed, Seuss is really a model of innovation and tenacity. A writer whose first book was rejected 27 times and who didn't achieve fame until the age of 33. The last few years, as we worked our way through the pandemic and all of its challenges, my speeches have been a bit more serious. So with this year's return to more normalcy, I thought it appropriate to convey my congratulations to this class in lighter terms. I was reminded of Seuss last year when our middle school did the musical Seussical. Though you'll hear a lot of sage advice today and praise for your academic successes, I'd like to focus on your Seussian qualities. Your quirkiness, your humor, your absurdity, your sense of fun, your kindness, your passion, your compassion. All of these lighthearted qualities are evident in the anthropomorphic creatures who inhabit the work of Dr. Seuss. Seuss gave serious advice as well, of course, exhorting young people to see themselves as activists and lauding the ability of a few people to influence the course of history. He wrote, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And certainly that's advice we could all use now. Another facet of Seuss's writing that I think resonates for us at Ranney is the idea that he took people seriously, young people seriously. As he famously said, a person's a person, no matter how small. Of course, Seuss comes up pretty regularly at graduation time. Many of you will probably receive or have received a copy of Oh, the Places You'll Go for graduation presents. It just celebrated its 30th anniversary a few years ago. And of course, I'll quote from that in the tribute poem. Dr. Seuss was above all an educator. He gave us artful inanity that was steeped in some wisdom. So with apologies to Dr. Seuss, I've written what English teachers call an occasional poem, or a poem written for an occasion, in this case for the class of 2023. How did it get so late so soon? It's night before it's afternoon. December is here before it's June. My goodness, how the time has flown. Is commencement day here so soon? You performed on the stage of Panther Hall, sailed and shot hoops, scored clinched soccer goals. You played baseball and tennis and kept us enthralled. You've sung at coffee houses, you've sprinted in races, staged Mamma Mia and painted your faces. You've cavorted at prom. You created the R. We know from your records that you will go far. You've played jazz, done service, arrayed, and hurrah. You've impressed all your teachers. You've made time for fun. You completed your capstone, your APs are all done. You had classes recumbent and relaxed in the sun. You wowed them at Lake House, as you no doubt know. You've touched us in Shakespeare and many a show. You've thrown pots and ridden. You've talents still hidden. You are smart, you are funny, you have bled white and blue. Today you are you, it is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. We praise scholar athletes and the great feats they've done. We celebrate the thespians who've helped us to have fun, the forensic stars, the introverts, the extroverts, the funny, the activists, technologists who go out and make the money, the philanthropists, violinists, the lifers and latecomers, the filmmakers and composers, and the go out and have funners. We are proud you've been feted and much celebrated. As you graduate from Ranney, your friends are elated. Your heads crammed with facts, but your zest unabated. You came to our campus from hither and yon, Korea and Kolsnek, Shanghai and Rumson. You took classes online and survived a pandemic. Returned back to normal when the disease turned endemic. You've been irrepressible. We think you know who, and simply unguessable in some things you do. Your voices are loud, standing out in the crowd. Though you've had your detractors, you would not be cowed. You've made your mistakes, but none too egregious. Your antics surprised, delighted, and pleased us. You've done all these things, but you've much more to do, and where you will travel, we have scarcely a clue. You'll go off to Dickinson, Wellesley, you'll see. You'll be landing at Penn or cheer USC. You will wow them at Duke, UVA, and Northeastern. Proud to be Hoyas and play down at Georgetown. Attend Seton Hall, Miami, and Furman, to South Carolina or American, to Tulane and Tufts, Elon, NYU, to Berkeley and Rutgers and GWU, to Vandy and UT and Wagner and Bates, engineers, hoop players. We know you'll do great. Philosophers and scholars at Princeton and Wake. You'll ride horses at Baylor, at Cornell you'll crew. Muhlenberg, Emory, Toronto, Purdue, to Hopkins, Case Western, or maybe Bucknell, places your counselors told you fit well. Urbana-Champaign, where we know you'll do swell. You'll roll with the tide, Irvine, JMU, Ithaca, Ramapo, NJCU, Lehigh or Lafayette, Embry-Riddle, NJIT, Pitt. Spiders or Terrapins, Brandeis or Keene, William and Mary, UVM, Queens. Villanova and Utah, landing at Dartmouth, Westchester and PA, and right here at Monmouth. Delaware, Tampa, CC and IU, Stevens, Rochester, and good old Wash U, to Syracuse, Penn State, to name just a few. But wherever you go and whatever you do, you will do greater things than most others will do. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the ones who will decide where to go. You've learned some math and history, and that red and white make pink, but we hope we've taught you something more. We hope you know to think. So from all of your teachers, the tall and the small, the hirsute and those without much hair at all, the bearded, the peevish, the kind and the tart, the ones with great brains and the ones with great hearts. Our wish for you all, from the depths of our heart, is you'll be very safe and you'll be very smart. And above all, we hope that you'll learn to love questions and not just endure until your own life ends. For education, said Plutarch, and he said it so well, is a fire to be lit, not a bucket to fill. And Seuss himself said in his Seussian way that all good schools will have really one thing to say. He said schools that count at the end of the start are the schools that have trained not the brain, but the heart. So though not Diffendorfer School, we can definitely say we've been blessed to have you with us, and we wish that you could stay. So to all these Ranney seniors on this most auspicious day, Vincit omnia, conquer all. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Thank you. Congratulations to the amazing Ranney School class of 2023. We are proud of you. We will miss you. Visit often. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Griffith. I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. John Proper to present the first award of this afternoon, the Headmaster's Cup. John?
Good afternoon, everyone. Leadership skills must be refined over time by continually putting others before yourself, having faith that what you're doing is right, and reflecting to ensure that you continue to make the best decisions when presented with similar and new situations. Prioritizing other people's needs and concerns at first can seem easy to those with good intentions. Still, it requires that many minor nuances of the situations be considered over time. Having faith that the path you are going down is the right one can be difficult as doubt and other people's opinions arise along the way. Reflecting on the past can also be challenging. It requires objectivity and honesty about one's performance. Influential leaders must continually engage in this process. This growth is needed for anyone to lead the way for others effectively. The student honored this afternoon has completed these steps many times. His intentions are always very pure and altruistic. Many people know about his work on the student council and see him leading the pep rallies and the town hall meetings. But many have yet to learn about his work coaching Little League Baseball during the summer vacation or on the stage crew of every theater production. He has been a consistent teammate and a leader in many facets of Ranney School, such as athletics, performing arts, and student life. He lives the motto of lead, create, contribute daily through his brilliant teamwork and willingness to do whatever is needed, including leading the upper school student body. I'm honored to present the 2023 Headmaster's Cup to Mr. John DePalma.
Please welcome Dr. Roxanne Spencer to the stage for the presentation of the Female Faculty Prize.
Good afternoon. This student ticks all the boxes for the Faculty Prize. She's demonstrated a love of learning, sought intellectual growth, and challenged herself with a high bar. She epitomizes the self-directed learner. Over the past 2 years, the student has excelled academically in 7 AP courses and 8 honors courses. Teachers across her schedule have commented on her enthusiasm for learning and the energy that she brings to each class with words like joyous, positive, and vibrant. She leads by example. Ms. Patient has called her an educational Pied Piper by volunteering to lead vocabulary reviews in AP Spanish, asking questions in AP Calc, and creating scavenger hunt for her friends. This student is multifaceted and an active participant in the performing arts at Ranney as a musician and actor on stage, and she stepped outside her comfort zone by joining the jazz combo. Mr. Proper claims that the band is a better place because she was part of it. She is a gifted communicator and earned a degree of distinction in the National Speech and Debate Association's Honor Society. But beyond the accolades, she is creative and unique. For anatomy physiology, to Miss Lasda's great delight, she crocheted a skeleton as, quote, just one incredible example of how you consistently go above and beyond the assignment. And, perhaps more importantly, she gets my jokes. I'm honored to present this year's faculty prize to Anna Weiner.
Dr. Rob Cameron will now present the Male Faculty Prize.
This year's recipient of the Faculty Prize has been described by his teachers as, quote, dynamic, innovative, stellar, kind, super kind, generous, a natural leader, and as having, quote, unbelievable passion and curiosity. A glance at his transcript will reveal that he has not just done well, but truly excelled in biology, in English literature, in marine science, in music theory, in Spanish, in statistics, and that's not even an all-encompassing list. He scored a 5 on 4 AP exams, and that's not even counting this year. But the Faculty Prize isn't awarded to a student based solely on their grades. It's awarded to a student who has demonstrated a love of learning. If you read the prize description, a person who's exhibited a, quote, contagious enthusiasm for learning, and who has been an example of leadership. This year's recipient was pivotal in coordinating upper school students of Spanish, reading stories to lower school students. Over his tenure at Ranney, he's helped numerous lower and middle school students to improve their cello playing skills. As a cast member in Ranney's musicals, he learned dances to songs that he wasn't even in, and helped students learn the steps when they missed a rehearsal. As his teachers say, that's just the kind of person he is. Dynamic, stellar, kind, generous, a natural leader, unbelievable passion and curiosity. I'm lucky to know him. Ranney is lucky to have him as an alum, and Princeton is lucky that he's headed their way. This year's recipient of the Faculty Prize is Rowan Johnson.
These can get a little unwieldy on the march out. Please welcome Dr. Sam Brannon to the stage for the presentation of the Ann Capel Citizenship and Service Award.
The Ann Capel Citizenship Service Award is given to a member of the senior class who has best demonstrated generosity of spirit and thoughtfulness to all. This year's recipient exemplifies caring and concern for fellow students in every domain of Ranney life. In the classroom, the student often lends a helping hand to peers, catching up those who are absent, drilling questions before a test, or lending encouraging words to friends who are struggling. Many of their teachers appreciated how this student resisted the siren song of senioritis, and indeed the student was responsible for propelling many peers to continued academic success as the year drew to a close. One distinctive quality of this student is her sincere interest in improving the community through service. While clearly driven by an ambition to succeed, she never does anything merely for recognition or applause. It would be easy to miss her impact because she's found most often on the sidelines. But if you look more closely, you'll find her influence around every corner of our community. She's a critical member of many activities: Tri-M, lacrosse, Beneath the Surface, to name but a few. Most importantly, she never fails to step up at a moment's notice, answering any call for help, whether cleaning tables in the dining hall or warmly and genuinely welcoming visitors to our campus. It's my pleasure to present this year's Ann Capel Citizenship and Service Award to Adele Sobieski.
And now, Dr. Brad Holden and Dr. Tom Brinkerhoff will present the Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Awards.
We all know the value of giving back, the sense of pleasure that comes from making a difference, however small. Sometimes, amid the pressures of school and the scramble for college admissions, it can be easy to lose sight of the reason for service. Our work becomes less about helping others and more about helping ourselves stand out, make the cut, get in. But we still sense, even with all the stress, that service to the community, devotion to a cause greater than self, is of inestimable value. And at Ranney School, we strive to recognize such service. The Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award is presented to a member of the senior class who, in addition to their activities at Ranney School, has contributed with distinction to the betterment of the greater community. The award goes to a student who has performed significant, sincere, and genuine acts of humanity and kindness to others, and in so doing has been an ambassador of Ranney values to the world outside our school. This year's winner is someone who has made a profound impact on our community and leaves behind her a lasting legacy at our school. Her passion for justice shines through in everything she does, and even served as the basis for her year-long capstone, Equality versus Equity, the struggle for fairness in education. She founded a chapter of the Key Club, an organization dedicated to service, and she twisted my arm to start, a chapter of the National English Honor Society. In leadership roles across our campus, she has used her impressive talents and abilities to give back. I have been impressed repeatedly, both at the impact she has made and her passion for social justice. It is my great honor to present the Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award to Sammy Kellner.
In one of the most notable lines from The Wizard of Oz, the wizard explains to the Tin Man, quote, "A heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others," end quote. The Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award is awarded to a graduating senior who, in addition to their contributions to the Ranney community, has bettered the greater community and society through genuine acts of humanity and kindness to others. This year's recipient has impacted countless lives fighting hunger through Our Hope, Ranney helping other people eat. This student has devoted hours upon hours working with our local county food bank throughout high school to collect and distribute food to people in need. Additionally, this student has been a tremendous ambassador for Ranney, helping our school be recognized as the #1 high school in the Students Change Hunger Challenge. At Ranney, this student has been a pioneer for the National Honor Society in designing and sponsoring outside community service opportunities for upper school students, always thinking about the ways Ranney Panthers can make the larger community stronger. Yet perhaps most impressive about this year's recipient is their genuine excitement and joy for helping others. The smile that consistently fills this recipient's face when speaking about service opportunities underscores this student's exceptional commitment to serving humanity. It's my sincere honor to present the second Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award to Summer Wilderado.
And now, Ms. Caitlin Linney will join us to present the Robert Paulus Leadership and Perseverance Award.
Perseverance is defined as the steadfast pursuit of a goal, even in the face of obstacles or adversity, requiring strength, resilience, and unwavering determination, something we all strive for, yet difficult to obtain. Despite facing numerous challenges throughout their time here, today's recipient had an unwavering commitment to achieving their goals. This individual excelled in the classroom, became a fixture of the Ranney community, taking on leadership roles in both athletics and student government, and embarked on a mission to rewrite the narrative for the girls' basketball team, a lofty task in which she was an integral part. When we talk about the qualities and characteristics of great leaders, we often talk about what happens when no one is watching. Despite battling injuries and being asked to lead as only a sophomore, this young woman never let obstacles affect the effort and compassion she showed as a leader. And she did it all with a smile on her face and joy in her heart, never looking for accolades or recognition. The last 3 seasons saw many firsts: a first division title, a first short conference tournament win, a first state tournament win, and a first division player of the year. Although her athletic contributions played a large part in these accomplishments, her leadership played an even bigger role, making our team's success possible. Perseverance is not just about working hard. It is about pushing through when things get tough, when the odds seem stacked against you, and when giving up seems like the easiest way out. It is about picking yourself up after every failure, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to move forward with a renewed sense of determination. I cannot think of a person who embodies this more than this year's recipient. So to the recipient of this year's Robert Paulus Leadership and Perseverance Award, I offer my heartfelt congratulations. Your unwavering dedication, remarkable positive attitude, and resilience have inspired us all. And I have no doubt that your future will be filled with even more achievements and successes. I'm honored to present this year's Robert Paulus Leadership and Perseverance Award to Sarah Hughes.
Ms. Catherine Maslak will now present the Margaret Mann Award.
The Margaret Mann Award is presented annually to the Ranney lifer who best exemplifies the qualities of good citizenship. These qualities include helpfulness, courteousness, and thoughtfulness, with the individual maintaining an excellent scholastic average. This year's recipient is steadfast in his commitment to inclusivity, consistently engaging with questions and sitting with the spectrum of opinions rather than fervently defending. Naturally curious with a versatile intellect, he has a wide range of interests, from physics to music theory, and even our shared interest of theater. A champion of humor, he has learned to walk the line of knowing when not to take life too seriously. His senior capstone perfectly blended rigorous academic research with wit and playfulness. He is tremendously kind, thoughtful, and patient. His power does not rely on force or flashiness, but rather through leading by example. As a community, we want to emulate his goodness. We seek to be as non-judgmental as he. When it comes to performing, he is the best of the best. I knew that whatever role on stage he was given, he took that responsibility seriously. He is a gracious scene partner, demonstrating a deep understanding of nuance and storytelling. An excellent singer and strong musician, his voice has brought our community together through his joy. And to quote any given third grader walking on campus when they've seen him, "Is that the Ranney R?" Please join me in congratulating Michael Giuliano as the recipient of the Margaret Mann Award for Class of 2023.
Please welcome Ms. Curry to present the Dr. Lawrence Sykoff Award.
The Lawrence Sykoff Award is often described as the Renaissance Man Award. The most famous Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci, was accomplished not only in art, but in chemistry and music and engineering. For Leonardo, the purpose of life was to develop one's capacities by embracing all knowledge. The interests of this year's Sykoff Award winner indeed embrace all knowledge. It's apparent from his performance on Ranney's competitive academic teams, from Quiz Bowl to Science Olympiad and beyond. But displaying knowledge is not his end goal. Like Leonardo, who designed a prototype flying machine, he seeks to apply that knowledge to solving problems. For example, during the COVID pandemic, he designed special instrument covers that would allow musicians to play indoors more safely. No doubt he tackled this particular problem because he is a fantastic tenor sax player. I hope you heard the amazing piece that he composed and performed at the spring concert. His musicianship is rivaled by his leadership in the jazz band, in Tri-M, in Academic Bowl, and on my History Bowl leadership team, the Triumvirate. And he's accomplished all this while displaying a quality much admired in the Renaissance, sprezzatura, which is the ability to perform difficult tasks while making it all look effortless. Conceivably, this could lead others to feel inadequate around him, but like Leonardo, our Renaissance man is a self-effacing and empathetic leader who calls out the best in those around him. Next year, he begins Tulane University's combined undergraduate and medical school program. And somewhere between organic chemistry and clinical rotations, he'll also play the sax and study jazz music. I am indeed honored to present this year's Lawrence Sykoff Award to Ankush Govil.
Presenting our final award this afternoon, the Ranney School Leadership Award, will be Ms. Patient.
Born to lead, some may say, but more involved, reaching always beyond his comfort zone. As this student grew, more problems he solved. None too impossible, all could be done. Does great problem solving a leader make, or humility and sense of humor? Never tiring, nor shortcuts would he take. Data-driven, creative, late bloomer. Some leaders want to stack their resume. This leader created happier places. On stage, in the lab, for his class each day, bridging social and academic spaces. In all he has done, he's brought clarity. Everyone knows it's Brandon D. Stobie.
A high point in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Sound of Music occurs when Mother Abbess encourages Maria to follow her dreams in the inspirational song, Climb Every Mountain. The valedictorian of the class of 2023, who played the role of Mother Abbess in last year's Ranney production, was no doubt chosen for her marvelous voice and acting skills. But perhaps she wasn't really acting at all. In an uncanny way, Anna Weiner embodies the very qualities of the stage character she portrayed. Like Mother Abbess, Anna listens thoughtfully to those around her, whether they're expressing opinions in AP Art History class or arguing in a debate competition. She weighs evidence carefully before drawing her conclusions, although I doubt that the fictional Mother Abbess would ever be engaged in the type of forensic science research that Anna pursued this year. You may ask her about that later. And just like Mother Abbess, Anna has emerged as a leader in the Ranney community, not only because she's a stellar student, but because she is a model of servant leadership. Her teachers in AP Spanish, Anatomy and Physiology, and AP Music Theory have all commented on Anna's willingness to engage with her fellow students to help the group succeed. On the Academic Integrity Board, I've seen her give sound advice to her peers, communicated with real sensitivity, and leavened with humor. Outside Ranney, she's blended her interest in science with helping the community through her Girl Scouts Gold Award project on the environment of Sandy Hook. Next year, Anna will be following her own dreams at Wellesley College in Massachusetts, but this afternoon, we have the opportunity to hear some wise advice from her one last time. I'm honored to present the valedictorian of the class of 2023, Anna Weiner.
Classmates, faculty, administration, trustees, family, friends, Picasso the Turtle, and the Ranney R. Welcome to day 0. 120 days ago, I started a countdown clock to graduation. Today, that clock reads 0, which is absolutely surreal to think. I, like a handful of my fellow graduates, have attended more than one high school. I came to Ranney at the start of my junior year, 620 days before graduation. I spent that summer working 39.5 hours a week as a cashier at Target while simultaneously taking an online physics course. I missed what was supposed to be my first week at Ranney because I ended up in the hospital for an asthma attack. And when I got to Ranney, I discovered that I was famous in some of my classes due to an unfortunate mispronunciation of my last name. Suffice to say, I had a rocky start. I didn't really feel like I was going to be a part of Ranney. In my mind, this was just another stop on the way to my ultimate destination. I was really only here to run out the countdown clock. So I tried not to get attached. And I failed. While I was here, I met some of the most talented, intelligent, and kind people I have ever had the privilege of knowing. These people uplifted me and made me feel like I belong. They didn't need to do any convincing. They just made me feel that way. I stopped doubting myself as much, and I did the things that I never would have done at my old school, like auditioning for The Sound of Music at 591 days before graduation, or performing for the first time with Jazz Combo at 587 days before graduation. On my very first day at Ranney, I sat with Sarah Hughes at lunch, and she was the first person to introduce herself to me and offered to walk me to my next class. And I still admire her for her kindness. Before school even started, Kieran Patient hung out with me and told me all about Ranney. I am truly grateful for everything he's done to help me. Even now, some of my favorite Ranney memories are not big moments, but little routines with great people at this school. Setting up my saxophone before jazz band with John and Justin, making our list of vocabulary. Having my sister, Avery, beg me for Duncan every senior lunch without fail. Walking to AP Lit with Oshima, calling it literature and bad British accents. Braiding Maria's hair before Mamma Mia. Playing Contexto in anatomy and doing crosswords in Lit with Katie, Gray, Rowan, and Sarah. Doing fight choreography practice with Michael, Brandon, and Parsby before Midsummer Night's Dream. Braving calculus with Erin, Serafina, and Sammy. Reviewing vocab with elaborate memory devices in Spanish with Serena. And playing Blue Bossa with Ankush, Crosby, Lucas, and Ben. I could talk forever about how many people at this school are so important and special to me. And beyond just my incredible classmates, I have had so many amazing teachers. Miss Patient, who was on my side before school even started and drove me to so many speech and debate tournaments. Miss Lozda, who consistently taught my favorite classes. Miss Grath, who let me be myself. Mr. Proper and Mrs. Goodrow, whose honesty I admire. Dr. Spencer and Mr. Coots, who listened to me talk about my crazy interests from decay and rotting meat to hyperbolic crochet. Dr. Holden, Senora Garcia, and Dr. Cameron, who helped me get better at communicating my ideas, albeit in different languages. Miss Maslak and Mr. Felter, who got my sense of humor. And of course, Dr. Sobieski, my advisor, AP Music Theory teacher, and confidant. Through music, Science Olympiad, theater, a truly excellent advisory, and honestly everything I've done here, I've realized that the people are what has defined my Ranney experience. The wonderful people here continue to inspire me and surprise me. I made one of my strongest and most important friendships to date a mere 190 days before graduation. Ranney has been a life-changing place for me. For all the fear and hardship that went into being the new kid, I've made friends that I hope I'll keep for a lifetime. Boy, am I glad that, in addition to just being great parents and making me the person I am today, my mom and dad gave me the opportunity to come here. The bizarre thing is that next year, we're all going to be the new kid. And especially for my classmates who have attended this school for over a decade, this is going to be an exciting and scary transition. So, as we move on to the next great things we're all going to do, as a recent new kid, I'd like to count you down with 4 pieces of advice. Number 4, reinventing yourself is overrated. We all have a lot of growing up to do, and change is inevitable, but the parts of you that make you, you are never going to go away. Embrace them. Number 3, staying in touch with old friends is possible and important. If you want it to work out, it will. I still talk to one of my best friends from my old town every single day. Your friends from high school don't just disappear. Trust me, this isn't goodbye. Number 2, clean slates are a beautiful thing. It's not going to be easy, believe me, I know. But even though my start was a little rocky, it didn't define the rest of my time here. Take this opportunity as a new kid to take risks and try new things even when it's difficult. I know I'm glad I did. And number 1, make sure you find your people. Build those relationships because they just might change your life. Honestly, the more that I think about it, that countdown clock might have been a little premature. Instead of living in the moment and appreciating the end of the year, I wished it all away. So, even though I know that I graduate college in 1,457 days, you'd better believe that I will not be counting down. I mean, for every moment that I've wanted to leave and escape to Massachusetts, there have been so many more wonderful moments with wonderful people that made it worth staying. Thank you all for everything, and to my fellow graduates, the future new kids, congrats. I love you guys.
Dr. Griffith, will you please join me at the podium? It is my pleasure to inform you that each of the 97 students in this year's graduating class have successfully completed their course of study in Ranney's upper school and have fulfilled the comprehensive and rigorous graduation requirements established by our Board of Trustees. With the unanimous and confident recommendation of the upper school faculty and administration, I would like to recommend that each of the students in front of you be conferred a diploma from the Ranney School.
On behalf of the administration and Board of Trustees, we accept your recommendation.
Thank you. Would Ms. Patient and Ms. Curry please step forward to assist in the presenting of diplomas? Members of the class of 2023, it is our honor and privilege to begin the process of conferring your diplomas. When your name is called, please come up to the stage, receive your diploma from Dr. Griffith, and accept the congratulations of our board chairman, Mr. Bob Chandler. Let me note that it is a tradition at Ranney School that whenever the child of a member of the Board of Trustees, the faculty or administration, or alumni, we offer that parent the opportunity to assist with the conferring of the diploma. We will also have this year an honored graduate who will receive his diploma from a trustee. This year, joining us on stage for this tradition will be current trustees, Dr. Ramil Bhatnagar, Dr. Neeraj Goval, Joe Giuliano, and Jennifer Kane. Chief Advancement Officer Jennifer Collins, Dean of Students Leslie Patient, Performing Arts faculty member Dr. Dorota Sobieski, Ranney alumni Joe Dennis, Peggy Mann, Ann Santulli, and myself. Seniors, don't forget to look at the camera and smile. Let us begin. Ashley Alex Agello. Lily May Aspen. Murad Ahmed Bey. Matthew Samuel Banks. Maya Lily Barthball. Alberto Beltran. Marielle Grace Barcelona. Jalil Lefay. James Henry Byer. Dr. Botnagar, please join us on stage. Christian R. Botnagar. Yeah, you jump in there, Bob. Emma Kate Blumenkrantz. Grace Mary Bray. Glenn Michael Cantalupo Jr. Ethan Thomas Casciano. Ashima Singh Chauhan. Allison Olivia Chiarini. Andrew Lucas Calicchio. Mrs. Collins, please join us on stage. Crosby Quentin Collins. Thorin Jackson Collins. Sarah Ann Confertini. Danielle Lynn Diamadeo. Mr. Dennis, please join us on stage. Dylan Dennis. John Paul Diploma. Serena Dollywall. Matthew Alec Engel. Serafina M. Georges. Noah Joseph Goodman. Dr. Goebel, if you would. Ankush Goebel. AJ Gracia. Sasha Ilyana Ranney. Ms. Mann, please join us. Ryan M. Grouse. Mr. Giuliano, please come to the stage. Maria Elizabeth Giuliano. Michael Vincent Giuliano. Ibo Guo. Priya Gupta. Lawrence Reed Hall. Isaac Hester. Lucas Michael Einod. Jianyang Zhang. Juyu Zhang. Mr. Giuliano, please come to the stage. Rowan Kazi Anton Johnson. Mrs. Kane, please join us. Pierce William Kane. Samantha Kellner. Aaron Coates. Linda Betty Levy. Wenjun Liu. Alexandria Lopez. Elon Jaden Losner. Akshay Man. Benjamin Maxwell Miskoff. Russell K. Monga. Tomas Mora. Sophia Taylor Moskowitz. Richard R. Nagy III. Adi Nayar. Ms. Patient, it's your turn. Kieran Dylan Patient. Eliana Marie Perosi. Ronald John Renaud Jr. Cynthia Marie Rivera. Alden Mayer Rose. Vincent Thomas Sikowski. Mrs. Santoli, will you join us, please? Bella Santoli. Jianing Shi. Grace Alexandra Silver. Karsten Vance Seema. Jacob Dylan Sobel. Dr. Sobieski, please join us on stage. Adele Elizabeth Sobieski. Perrin Sohn. Nate Stewart. Brandon Dorset Stobie. Ava Nicole Sukoff. Chuk Chung Tommy Sung. Chuk Wing Katie Sung. Victoria Tackett. John M. Talon. David J. Tansey. Diego J. Tavares. Kevin Christopher Toomey. Christian Gaetano Verone. Denglei Wong. Binhan Wong. Jahao Wong. Anna Weiner. Yasmin Wells. Whitman. Summer Liz Wilderotter. Mason Maroney Wrigley. Binghui Yang. Julia Hope Yanni. Luke Zaslow. Jalu Zhao. Benjamin Zhang. Class of 2023, please rise and move your tassels from right to left and face the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for the very first time the graduates of Ranney School's class of 2023. Graduates, please take this moment to thank your family and your teachers, advisors, coaches, and mentors who helped you achieve this moment with a round of applause. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. It's a pleasure to introduce Bob Chandler for some closing remarks. In many ways, Bob needs no introduction, but I want to take a moment to thank him for his incredible service to Ranney School. As many of you know, Bob will be stepping down from his role as chair in July. To use Dr. Martin's metaphor, this is another passing of the torch. Bob has served on the board for 14 years and is chair for the last 4. The proud father of 2 graduates, Jillian Morgan and Brooks, will be entering the upper school next year. He's been supported by his lovely wife, Pam. The school has gone through a lot of dynamic growth over the time of Bob's leadership, navigating the challenges of COVID-19. I am deeply grateful for his support of Ranney and personally his friendship and wise advice over the years. Joe Giuliano has been a member of the Board of Trustees for 8 years, and during his tenure has served as the chair of the Governance and Finance Committees. Joe has served as, will be the vice chair and therefore the logical person to replace Bob, and Michael and Maria, as they graduate today, of course, makes it a particularly appropriate occasion to recognize him. Please join me in recognizing Bob for his service to Ranney School.
Well, it has been 14 years, I have to say. It was very, very quick, wonderful, and watching all this happen for that many years has been really heartfelt. I know that when I was sitting down there before I was standing here with the other trustees, you wouldn't believe how many trustees cry at these things. It's really amazing. And I saw a couple today, so. There's no arguing that Ranney-style graduation ceremonies are categorically best in class. As I said, this is my 14th year, and I must say, they always are reassuring and strike the right chord. They make me want to believe that all's right in the world. I can imagine that no matter what, life is moving ahead as planned. And why wouldn't you think that? We see before us on this stage individual singular accomplishments proudly being recognized. Your smiles, your energy, your commitment, and your hopes for the future all make for a brilliant, joyful moment for all of us. It is simply a beautiful celebration of the class of 2023. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, John. It's a distinct privilege and pleasure to share this stage with Ranney leadership, and I really mean that. Now, I promise to keep this very brief. First, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to express our official congratulations to everyone. First and foremost, of course, to you graduates and your families and friends. I'd also like to extend our congratulations in recognition of your success in earning entrance to the most celebrated schools in the country. In this regard, the class of 2023 truly ranks as one of the most outstanding. Congratulations are in order as well for your prowess and your successes in sports. This year has been all-inspiring, without any question. Your teamwork and consistency on every playing field drew cheers from fans throughout every corner of Ranney's universe. And the music and theater selections this year have been fun, emotional, and remarkably memorable. There are just so many activities that distinguish this class. There is no question that great days lie ahead. Thrilling decades, in fact, will greet this highly accomplished class. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank John, Greg, along with all faculty participants. You all gave wonderful insights and spot-on observations regarding the accomplishments of this class. And a special shout-out goes to the now legendary trio of Leslie, Marie, and Tracy, and their support teams working in such close harmony with John and his band ensemble to produce note-perfect details of this event this afternoon. Finally, let me wish you a happy Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your celebrations and please be safe. One tip, don't use sunscreen from last year. Thank you.
Graduates, as you recess from the arena, please head directly to the courtyard for the tossing of your caps. Families, we ask that you please remain in your seats until the recessional has passed, then head to the main concourse level for refreshments while we take the photo. Mr. Proper?